Good morning, I'm Cathy Borchers, and this is my testimony. I was 5 years old. You cannot tell me a child does not understand. We had gone on vacation, and the cabin we rented had a little table on it with a radio. And my mom had it playing, and I noticed that I knew those songs, I knew that music. And I looked at her and I says, "Mommy, is this Sunday?" She says, "Yeah, it's Sunday." I backed myself into the wall, and I just slid down that wall and was just bawling my eyes out. She said, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Mommy, I should be in church." "Well, you can go next week." "No, Mommy, I need to be in church now." Now, what was the rest of that conversation? I don't remember, but that one stuck with me. So I realized now that was not the moment that I really took hold of my faith, but I understood who Jesus was and where I needed to be. So, time passes and I would attend church, and I just was always something missing because my parents had me baptized, christened. So it was from the time I was 8 years old until the time I was 16. I realized something was missing. I just felt only half there. There was something missing. And so I'd tell them, and I'd ask them, and they'd say, "You were baptized. You don't need to." "No, I don't really remember." I do a little bit about all these people around in a church, but that was the first and last time I remember for a long time seeing my parents in a church. They were not church-going people. It was my grandmothers that kept their little hands in till there, and every Sunday they'd call, "Cathy, did you go to church today?" No, sometimes it was yes, I did, but a lot of times with peer pressure and everything else, and nobody to encourage me to read my Bible or anything. I really didn't understand. And there was times that in my childhood I couldn't wait to be 18. What I lived in was something an animal should not have had to live in. Between just the home itself and the things that went on in there, there was always a lot of anger. So I even incorporated that anger into myself because I couldn't understand why God had me in this place, and I loved him so much. And it was horrible. I look at other people and I hear them say, "Oh, my childhood was wonderful. I wish I could go back there." And I said, "Not me." I says, "You better be thankful that you were blessed. Not everybody is." So this went on for 8 years, and from the time I was 8 and then 16, I walked in and I said, "I want to get baptized. I want to be immersed." I knew that was missing. My dad looked at me and says, "Oh, go and do what you want. You're going to do it anyway." I said, "You're right," and I did. 2 weeks later, I was baptized. I will never forget that day. Oh, I was so tickled. And when I went down in that water and came up out of that water, I felt peace. I kind of lost some of that peace that I had because my situation still had not changed. And it wasn't until I was 17 and I finally found a way out. And it was not a good route out. And that was my first marriage, and I've had two before Moose. They were both very emotionally abusive, and I was literally, they had me cowed down. I mean, they didn't physically ever touch me. They wouldn't dare. My dad was a cop lived around the corner. But the abuse, the mental abuse, the emotional abuse, that scars that take a whole lot longer to heal. And I had times when I'd have instances with my kids that were borderline, are they going to make it or are they going to not make it? But you can't tell me that he doesn't hear prayer even when you're falling away. When my middle girl was born, the nurse turned around and looked at the doctor and said, "I can't get this baby to breathe." And I didn't care who was in there. I said, "Dear Lord, let her breathe." And then you heard just the littlest squeak of a cry. And that nurse, I looked over at that nurse, and she just, her eyes looked like they were going to pop out of her sockets there. She couldn't believe what she heard and what she saw. Just turned right back around and started working on Ange again. And that was an instant prayer. You can't tell me that he was not in that delivery room with me and protecting my daughter. Today she's a teacher and has 4 children of her own. It's just, I am amazed constantly, and I'm always giving thanks to the Lord for my kids and the way they have grown up. And it wasn't so much me as it was God having his hand on my children. Because I kept messing things up. And I finally found the backbone and the strength to get out of that second. And I said, God, I'm finished. That's it, I'm done. I can't take care of my own life. It's in your hands. You do what you want with it. I'm finished. Oh, well, daggone it, not too long after that, this tall, blue-eyed, dark-haired, handsome guy walks into my life. And we were just friends, and if I needed him, he was there to talk to me, and just, we got to be just real good friends. And daggone if he's not still there. But he's my support. We have our ups and downs. We have our disagreements. But God led him into my life, and I know that. And we are each other's rock. But our main rock is Jesus Christ. We've just got everything. It's just so much of a blessing now. I look at my house, I look at my children, I look at my grandchildren, and say, what in the world, what did I do to deserve this? I am the recipient of many blessings and miracles. And I'm actually the mother of 4 children. My youngest is not with me. He's sitting at the feet of Jesus waiting for Mommy and Daddy to get there. And that's okay, because he couldn't be in better hands. And we know we're going to see him, because Scripture tells me that. Jesus tells me that. God enforces that belief that we will be together again. I'm still on my journey, and I don't know when my journey's going to end. But I've got a lot of things I still have to take care of, straighten out. But he's working with me, and things are so much better the more we put our faith into him and hold on to him and take everything we need to in prayer. So when my journey's over, we'll know for sure what everything was. But until then, I have my faith. You cannot take that away from me. I experienced too many things that I know was the hand of God. But, there was a lot of anger, like I said, growing up. And it's hard to get a lifetime of that out. And then what I went through with my marriages and things like that, the anger and the hurt. And I cannot believe that Moose is the one that kept telling me, "You've got to forgive him, Kate. You got to forgive him." I said, "Are you kidding me? Do you know what they did to me? I don't care. You've got to forgive them." Well, lo and behold, I've come to find out that I have. I have been teaching Sunday school now Wednesday night. My son wasn't even thought of yet, and he is 43 now. So it's been more than 43 years that I have taught the majority. Now, when we fell away, naturally I wasn't teaching, but yes, I have, for the better part of 43 years, I have been teaching children. Because, like I said, you can't tell me a child doesn't understand. And because maybe that's why that experience sticks with me. Because I know that these kids I have, if they settle down and no sugar for the class, that they do understand. They do. They soak it up like a sponge. I'm Cathy Borchers, and this is my testimony.